He is up a game on Sean Fancher. He's playing green-black Eldrazi. This is the version with 4 Heartless Summonings in the deck. So, if you're not familiar with this, it's Ancient Stirrings, Mindstone, Heartless Summonings, a full set of Simian Spirit Guides. It ramps up into Oblivion Sowers, World Breakers, and an Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. This one goes big.
Not a single Eldrazi Mimic for McDuffie.
And his opponent playing Temur aggro. This is... We've seen some rumblings of this kind of deck with the Delver of Secrets style strategy, but not playing Delver of Secrets. Instead, it's much more of a prowess deck. Swift Spears, Abbot of Carol, Keep, Storm Chaser, Mages. And
Tarmogoyf, the only non-prowess creature in the deck because it kind of has prowess.
It's just permanent prowess.
Right. Mishra's Bauble, Gitaxian Probe, Mutagenic Growth, couple of Tarka's Command, a Become Immense, 4 Vapor Snag. You don't see Vapor Snags in decks that are trying to play long games of Magic. He's just attempting to run people over.
So, we'll bring into the match here. Korey McDuffie at 12, just making a block on 2 Tarmogoyfs. He blocks with a token and with a Matter Reshaper. The Matter Reshaper is going to reshape into Heartless Summoning. And he takes some damage off the Swift Spear. For Fancher, it's going to be an Abbot of Carol Keep, flipping into a Misty Rainforest. Korey down to 7. He's taken a lot of damage this game.
Yeah, McDuffie is currently at 8 mana towards an Ulamog, bringing back a World Breaker to hand. But even if he got into Ulamog range, I don't think that's going to be enough on this board.
Yeah, getting back World Breaker, I don't know that World Breaker will be good enough. Sacks Mindstone. Drop returner from Korey. Looks like an Eldrazi Temple. Eye of Ugin is the play. So he has 8 mana for an Eldrazi spell now. Certainly could cast the World Breaker.
World Breaker can block a Tarmogoyf. McDuffie is still getting hit by Tarmogoyf, Swift Spear, Abbot. That looks pretty lethal to me.
Taps 3 for World Breaker. He can tap Eye of Ugin thanks to that copy of Urborg. And he'll exile the Stomping Ground. What I do like about Heartless Summoning is it pairs really well with Eye of Ugin. Not only are these things that create mana for you, but they create reusable mana.
That's true.
Say if he had, for example, this turn he could have played World Breaker, Reality Smasher, which is 17 mana worth of cards.
Right. And notably, the inclusion of Heartless Summoning specifically makes it impossible for you to play Eldrazi Mimic in your deck. Not having Eldrazi Mimic actually diminishes the stock of Reality Smasher. Not to mention that if we're playing Reality Smasher and we control Heartless Summoning, it's just a 4/4.
Well, this deck certainly is going bigger. 4 Reality Smashers, but then Oblivion Sowers, a full set, World Breakers, and Ulamog. He wants to go bigger.
Right. The Smashers in McDuffie's deck are really just more a concession to the fact that you have to play spells to let you cheat on mana than anything. He's really just a Ulamog deck.
All right, a swing from Fancher. Korey blocks one of the Tarmogoyfs with World Breaker, but a Mutagenic Growth from Fancher will trigger Prowess and take game 2 to even things up at 1 apiece.
Play draw seems huge for this Prowess deck. You're playing a lot of cards that are not worth a spell. Vapor Snag I discussed. Mutagenic Growth is only good in specific situations or when you're attacking for lethal.
We have 4 Mishra's Baubles as well, just to trigger Prowess.
Interesting thing about playing 4 Mishra's Bauble and 4 Gitaxian Probe, it can be very difficult to evaluate how good your opening hand is. You can have something that has 5 spells, untap in your second turn, and have 5 lands in hand.
We see a lot of this at the Pro Tour. We actually saw Death Shadow aggro be a very popular day 1 choice among the European teams.
I do like Death Shadow more than I like these Prowess creatures, in particular Storm Chaser Mage, because it costs 2 mana. Just because the investment on Death Shadow is so low, and you just get to do a lot of powerful things. Gut Shot has been very well positioned in Modern as of late, so just like having that card in your deck just plays very well with Death Shadow. You can also Lightning Bolt yourself to the face in interesting ways to generate a lot of damage with the Death Shadow deck. And you're also punishing your opponent for dealing damage to you. You're punishing them for their game plan, which I like quite a lot.
So for Korey, turn 1, he will exile Simian Spirit Guide to play Chalice of the Void on 1. This is something we saw a lot of out of the channel Fireball colorless Eldrazi list.
I've lost to a lot of turn 1 Chalice of the Voids in my life. Doesn't feel good.
And Korey, look, has no plays on turn 2. He's putting a lot of stock in this Chalice of the Void if he's going to keep a hand like this.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. They don't have deck lists, so McDuffie, I imagine in his seat, I would think that Sean had Delver of Secrets in his deck. Fact of the matter, Sean has 3 different threats that all cost 2 mana. So the Chalice of the Void is not necessarily going to be game over here.
Right, it's not a lights out play. It does take care of Monastery Swiftspear, Gitaxian Probe, Lightning Bolt, Serum Visions, Vapor Snag. It's half of Sean's deck.
Yes.
But not all.
It matters, but it matters in the way that you need a follow-up. Just like a lot of the times where you see a Blood Moon deck play Blood Moon and hope it's good enough, you have to kill your opponent.
Sean's play is a Tarmogoyf. It'll swing for 1. Korey's at 19. Korey misses land number 2 for a second time.
If we went by turn 1, things looked exceptional for Korey. Turn 2 onward is looking very bad.
Well, now he will hit the land on turn 4. He'll play Heartless Summoning and pass back. So a double ramp spell for Korey. Sean with a pair of Tarmogoyfs. They're still just 1/2s at the moment, though.
Right. A Lightning Bolt for sure in Sean's hand that's not doing anything. So the fact that the Heartless Summoning would put a potential Thought-Knot here into Bolt range, not really going to matter in this game. So it's definitely possible that McDuffie can untap and just play creatures that are better than Sean's.
Now in Sean's seat, how do you feel? He has a Gitaxian Probe and a Lightning Bolt of just casting both of those into Chalice of the Void here. It would put an instant and a sorcery in the graveyard.
Yeah, there's no reason not to, right? Out of the sideboard, he has access to Ancient Grudge. Unclear if they were brought in. Also, there's only 2 copies, and with your Serum Visions turned off, you can't dig for them. If you draw them, great, but you can't wait for them.
And that's exactly what Sean will do. You saw him pay life for the Probe, cast a Lightning Bolt. Now the Tarmogoyfs are 3/4s, and Korey's at 12. Korey's draw a 3rd Llanowar Wastes. Has 5 mana available for a creature. And it's going to be Thragtusk.
Thragtusk is a big game. Only a 4/2 in play, so it does trade with any creature on Sean's side of the table. Leaves behind only a 2/2 because of the Heartless Summoning.
The Heartless Summoning does come with a second cost where all your creatures get -1/-1.
There's a couple of Roasts and a Harvest Pyre in Sean's sideboard.
You know, Roast has been really interesting to me. Playing some red-green decks and trying to think how I could beat the Eldrazi deck, Roast has seemed like a good go-to card.
Yeah, kills Thought-Knot Seer, lets you draw your card back, kills Reality Smasher. It's a card that I've seen. You can't really commit to 4 just because it's not a very powerful card relative to the format, but it does do what you want to do in a lot of situations.
Sean's play, Abbot of Carol Keep will reveal Abbot of Carol Keep. Second one reveals Storm Chaser Mage, that's no help, but Sean continues to add creatures to the board.
Abbot into Abbot is pretty good here. Those 1-drops are not going to pump them for attacks, but or they are going to pump them for attacks. They're not going to resolve, but they definitely matter.
And here swings Abbot. It's a 2/2/1. Sean does not want to offer up the Tarmogoyfs for a trade, just wants to swing Abbot right now. Korey's draw is an Urborg. He's up to 6 mana.
Yeah, I guess Sean really wants a creature to die in combat here, so those Tarmogoyfs can be 4/5s. So you are giving McDuffie time to cast more things that matter. This Chalice on 2, for example.
All right, with Chalice in 1 and 2 for Sean, that should just about do it. Now this actually, I do want to back up though. Playing this Chalice for 2 for Korey's gonna have some unseen side, some disadvantage. Sean can cast a Storm Chaser Mage into the Chalice for 2 and pump both his Tarmogoyfs with it.
Right. So with that Gitaxian Probe, Sean now has 5 3-power creatures. With that second Gitaxian Probe, he has 2 3-power creatures and 3 4-power creatures.
So he just cast 3 spells into the Chalice.
He has a lethal attack here. So McDuffie is actually dead.
And there you have it. Sean Fancher, Tamer Aggro, takes down Green-Black Eldrazi.
Like I was saying, you can't just Chalice. You have to kill your opponent. Sean did get a little lucky to Abbot into Abbot. That was how he was able to get that critical mass of creatures to be lethal. But McDuffie wasn't doing anything.
For the 3rd time in as many matches, we see Eldrazi on the losing side of the game as well.
Yeah, the deck's probably just not even playable, right?
I mean, that's what I'm taking out of this. Doesn't matter. You can build a blue-white or green-black Heartless Summoning.
Notably, in Columbus, we did watch the deck rally the Ancestors, lose 4 times on camera, and then win the tournament. And I know for a fact that we have not witnessed the only 3 Eldrazi players in the room.
Just saying.